Vegetables. Tea. Grains. Fish. People are buying the things they need to survive from people who need to sell them in order to make money to meet needs of their own. This is one of the fundamental principles of economics that will help us understand how to study a culture. What is a culture? Most anthropologists agree that a human culture is learned behavior acquired by individuals as members of a social group. There are several universal elements which need to be examined in order to understand and define a culture. They include economic activities, geography and natural resources, social organizations, and beliefs and values. Members of a culture share certain beliefs, morals, customs, traditional practices, and a common language. The sum of the elements that unite a group of people is collectively referred to as a culture. A culture is a total way of life. This lesson will examine how a culture is defined by the ways in which people meet their needs and wants through various economic activities. Each person must find a way to provide for his or her subsistent needs. Subsistent needs include a person's basic requirement of food, water, shelter, and clothing. Subsistent needs are necessary for basic survival. Whether producing on a small scale for individual consumption or a large scale for mass production, each person must meet his or her subsistent needs before trying to obtain his or her personal wants. Things such as artwork, television sets, jewelry, or stereo systems. Members of a culture meet their needs through the production of goods. There are three types of production in most cultures: service, industry, and agriculture. Service production includes physical or intellectual activities or tasks which are performed for others, such as cooking and selling food, or working as a bus driver, police officer, teacher, or grocery store cashier. Industrial production includes the actual manufacture of goods from various resources. A good example in many cultures is the production of automobiles. There are, however, many types of industrial production, including products ranging from beer to pancake syrup. Agricultural production is the cultivation of crops and livestock for food and related products such as clothing. Farmers grow vegetables and grains, or produce meat, butter, and milk from animals. In some cultures, these items are sold directly to wholesalers, while in others, They may be taken directly to a local marketplace. The economic activities of a culture are determined by three factors: topography, climate, and natural resources of the land. Topography is the physical features of the land. Topography determines the economic activities of a culture because the physical features of the land influence how it can be used in production by the people who live there. If an area is mountainous, people may raise animals that are adapted to climbing. People who live in flat areas with fertile soil are likely to choose agriculture as one of their primary economic activities. People who live in areas surrounded by water often focus on economic activities such as fishing. Climate is the average temperature and precipitation of a region. Climate determines economic activities because the weather influences which activities can be performed. For example, crops that grow in one type of climate may not grow in another. People who live in very warm, dry climates involve themselves in very different economic activities than people who live in cold, wet climates. Natural resources are materials provided by nature and used in production, such as timber, water, soil, minerals, and animals. The natural resources of a region determine what materials are available for economic production. In a forested region, people might be employed in the timber industry, from cutting or replanting trees to working in sawmills, or even producing the tools necessary to operate the mill. Other individuals or businesses purchase the raw lumber to produce goods, such as handcrafted wooden toys. Once production is completed, these products might be sold locally in small shops or exported to other retailers around the world. Because natural resources are unevenly distributed over the earth, people from different cultures have found it necessary to interact with each other in the exchange of resources, both importing from and exporting to other cultures. To help provide for themselves and others more efficiently, cultures develop technology. Technology consists of tools, machines, materials, plans, and procedures that aid in the production